The 1960s wasn't just a decade, it was a movement. Music was louder, colors were brighter, and the rules of fashion, well, they were meant to be broken. People didn't just wear clothes, they wore their beliefs, their personalities, and their freedom. Today, on Timeless Americana, we're stepping back into one of the boldest chapters in fashion history to look at 10 fashion trends from the 1960s that didn't just turn heads, they started conversations. Number 1 is the miniskirt. When Mary Quant first introduced the miniskirt in London, it was more than just a shorter hemline. It was a symbol of women taking control over their style. In an era when skirts were expected to fall modestly below the knee, the miniskirt stopped at mid-thigh, sometimes even higher. Young women embraced it as a rebellion against tradition, pairing it with colorful tights or tall boots. Critics called it shocking. Supporters called it liberating. Either way, it became the uniform of a new generation. Number 2 is go-go boots. Shiny, white, and usually knee-high, go-go boots stormed onto the scene thanks to designers like Andre Courrèges. They were futuristic, sleek, and paired perfectly with those miniskirts. You'd see them in clubs, on the streets, and of course on TV shows like Hullabaloo and Shindig. They gave women a confident, modern edge. Eventually, trends shifted toward more natural, earthy looks in the 70s, and the go-go boot faded, but their bold spirit still defines 1960s style. Number 3 is psychedelic prints. The late 60s were all about swirling colors, hypnotic patterns, and designs that looked like they'd stepped out of a dream. Inspired by art, music, and even the counterculture's experiments with perception, these prints covered everything from dresses to shirts to scarves. They weren't just clothes, they were walking works of art. By the 1970s, patterns grew softer and more muted, but psychedelic prints remain one of the most instantly recognizable styles of the decade. Number 4 is the pillbox hat. Thanks to First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy, the pillbox hat became a refined must-have in the early 1960s. It was simple, flat-topped with straight sides, but it carried an air of elegance and sophistication. Women wore them for church, special events, or even a polished day out in the city. As the decade moved toward more casual, bohemian looks, hats of all kinds began to disappear from everyday wear. But the pillbox hat will always be linked with early 1960s grace. Number 5 is bell-bottom pants. By the late 60s, the youth culture was leaning toward looser, more relaxed clothing. Bell-bottoms fitted at the waist and thigh, then dramatically flared at the bottom, became a symbol of freedom and non-conformity. They worked for both men and women, often paired with colorful shirts, fringed vests, or platform shoes. The style carried into the 70s, but eventually slimmer silhouettes took over. Still, nothing says vintage cool quite like a perfect pair of bell-bottoms. Number 6 is tie-dye. Born from both craft tradition and counterculture creativity, tie-dye was messy, fun, and entirely unique to the person making it. No two shirts were ever the same, and that was the point. It became a visual trademark of the hippie movement, worn at music festivals, protests, and just about anywhere self-expression mattered. Tie-dye has had many revivals over the years, but the original 60s spirit behind it was all about peace, love, and individuality. Number 7 is shift dresses. Straight, simple, and often in bold colors, the shift dress was the opposite of the hourglass styles of the 1950s. It didn't hug the waist. It didn't require a corset. Women could move, dance, and live freely in these dresses, making them perfect for the mod look of the mid-60s. They faded in popularity when fashion swung back to more fitted silhouettes, but for a few golden years, the shift dress was the definition of effortless chic. Number 8 is the Nehru jacket. Inspired by Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, this stand-collar jacket became a global fashion statement for men in the late 1960s. The Beatles wore them, so did Sammy Davis Jr. They offered a sleek alternative to traditional suit jackets, often paired with turtlenecks for a modern, artistic look. By the early 1970s, men's fashion shifted toward wider lapels and three-piece suits, but the Nehru jacket remains a unique icon of the era. Number 9 is the maxi dress. Not all 60s fashion was about going shorter. The maxi dress swept in during the late part of the decade with a romantic, bohemian flair. Flowing, floor length, and often in floral prints, maxi dresses were popular at outdoor festivals and summer gatherings. They offered comfort and a laid-back elegance, fitting perfectly with the growing love of nature and free-spirited living. Though hemlines kept changing, the maxi never truly disappeared, and it's still a summer staple today. Number 10 is mod sunglasses. Oversized, round, square, the bigger and bolder, the better. Mod sunglasses framed faces like works of art, often in white or brightly colored plastic frames. They were playful, yet stylish, shielding eyes while making an undeniable statement. By the 70s, styles styles shifted toward aviators and tinted lenses, but nothing captures 60s cool quite like a pair of giant mod shades. The 1960s was a decade that dared to be different. It took risks, it broke rules, and it gave us styles that still inspire designers today. Some of these looks may have vanished from the streets, but they're forever stitched into the fabric of fashion history. Which of these trends would you love to see make a comeback? Let us know in the comments. Give this video a like and subscribe for more stories from the past.